because your thoughts are trapped in a budget. Matthew 25. And I didn't write down the number, so I think it's 6, but it may not be. It's in the first few verses. Therefore I say unto you. Yeah, therefore, there it is up on the screen. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life. Jesus said, I don't want you to think about your life, what you're going to eat, what you should drink, nor for your body. Don't even think about what you're going to put on. Is not the life more than meat and the body more than raiment? Take no thought. Somebody say, take no thought. Take no thought. Say it again. Take no thought. Say it again. Now, Jesus is not saying that eating is not important and drinking is not important, your body's not important. He's saying don't let your thoughts be incarcerated by your circumstances. I want you to think beyond your need, or you won't get beyond your need. Number 5, let's model some creativity. Our model says that we need to storm the gates. Storm the gates. And her escort, with his escort, says amen. What do they mean by storm the gates? It's what we would call divergent thinking. It's throwing ideas, idea after idea after idea after idea at your circumstance. Storm the gates with all kinds of ideas about maybe we could do this and maybe we could do that. Maybe I could do that. Maybe if I call Fred, maybe I need to call Sally. Maybe if Sally and Fred got together, we formed a committee. Maybe we formed a committee and got financing from outside. Maybe if we got some finances as a broker, maybe we need a partnership. Storming the gates means throwing all kinds of ideas against the gate until something sticks. And you can't storm the gates if you are going to judge the ideas. So throw everything at it. Wise, smart, foolish, don't have the money, doesn't make any sense, don't even know Fred. Keep throwing things at the gate until it breaks. You're eventually going to think something that gets you outside if you stop judging your thoughts before you threw them at the gate. Throw all of it at the gates. Storm the gates. I don't know who I'm talking to, but you're imprisoned in some area of your life. You're not living your life to the fullest. You're not expressing yourself as you really are. People can't see who you really are. You're trapped in a situation living up to who they think they are, who they think you are rather than who you could be. They've limited you and locked you down, and deep down inside, you've been pacing around like a lion in a cage, hoping that somehow or other you could get out of the gate. And I'm telling you right now to start throwing everything you got. Overtime, undertime, work time, beside the time. Storm the gates. Concepts, creativity. Throw everything at it. Storm the gates. That's spiritual warfare. That's spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare isn't laying on a rug, foaming on the carpet, beating on the carpet, crying and talking in tongues. Spiritual warfare is throwing everything you can get your hands at your obstacle until you knock it down. Storm the gates. Spiritual warfare is taking the jawbone of an ass and seeing it as a weapon because you can't afford a sword. You say, I can't buy a sword, but I'm going to beat your hips with this bone until... Touch 3 people and say, storm the gates. Storm the gates, storm the gates, storm them, storm them. This is your year to storm the gates. Storm the gates, storm the gates, storm the gates, storm the gates, storm the gates. Throw ideas until you hit a good idea. Get your mind out the cage and start thinking again. I'm trying to get your mind to get out of that cave where you start storming the gates and get beyond the normal and the ordinary into the spectacular. Maybe you don't have the money for this, and maybe that was a dumb idea, and maybe that didn't work, but if you keep throwing stuff at the gate, after a while you're going to find out, oh, look, there's the law of gravity. Oh, look at that. That's the law of aerodynamics. Oh, look, there's an airplane. Can you imagine how stupid it was for somebody to think that they could fly? How many times they failed before they created the plane? Do you know how many times they fail before they find a cure? But they keep storming the gates. But non-creative people, if they have a failure, they sit down and live with the gate. Well, it must not be the Lord's will. If the Lord meant for me to get out of this, he would have made a way. Who in here is going to storm the gates this year? I want a confessional right now. I want you to shake somebody by the hand and look them in the eye and say, I'm not living in that gate anymore. I don't care what it takes to get out. I'm coming out of that gate. I'm going to storm the gates. 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 I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try that, and then I'm going to try the other. I'm going to storm the gates. If I have to lay it away, if I have to pay $10 a month, I'm going to storm the gates. I'm going to storm the gates. If I have to volunteer until I get hired on, I'm going to storm the gates. If I have to go back to school part-time, I'm going to storm the gate. But tell every devil and tell every witch, I will not live behind this gate. If the leper said, why sit we here and die? Then surely a healthy man ought to storm the gates. Touch 10 people and tell them storm the gates. Let's model creativity. Give God a praise. Let's model it. Let's model creativity. Let's model it. Let's model creativity. Let's show your kids how creative you can be. Let's show your job how creative you can be. Let's show your church how creative you can be. Slap your neighbor and say, storm the gates. And now our motto says, break your own routine. We're going to break some routines today. We're going to break some routines. You're going to stop being predictable. If I was an assassin, you'd be so easy to kill. You go to work the same way at the same time. You eat at the same restaurant every afternoon. You go back home the same way. You even wear blue on Wednesday. Everybody could kill you. Break your own rules. Get out the box. Do something you've never done before. Go somewhere you've never gone before. Go to a ballet, even if you don't understand it. Go someplace, meet somebody different. Break your own routine. Because in order to be creative, you have to draw inspiration from new sources. And you think you're not creative, but you are creative. You've just exhausted all the inspiration you could get from the routine that you had. See, when you get writer's block, you get writer's block because you're not getting inspiration. You have written about everything you can write about based on the experiences that you have had. And when you get in a new environment and you get a new atmosphere, you meet new people and you have new experiences and you become interesting again. You've been keeping the same routine for 20 years. You haven't eaten anything new since you were 7. You don't even know what it tastes like. I don't like that. How do you know? You can't be inspired with new ideas if you are entrenched in old routine. Do you know how many grocery stores there are in Dallas? And you've been going to the same one for 15 years? Do you know there's another restaurant other than the one on your corner? Have you ever considered that your life might be more interesting, or you might meet different kinds of people if you would break your own routine? If you would eat lunch in the park instead of gobbling it in the car? Could it be possible that you're boring? There is nothing. I just thought I'd ask about it. There's nothing as painful as locking up an exciting person in a boring life. After a while, the light goes out in your eyes. You don't talk on the level you could talk because there's nobody to talk to on that level. You don't try anymore because there's nothing in your life that challenges you to stretch. You're not good enough is they're exceptional. So you never get to stretch to your fullest potential because you surrounded yourself with a normalcy that is beneath your mentality. And so I'm challenging you to break your own routine. You say that's a small thing, it doesn't matter. It does matter. New places, new people, new sights, new experiences, new ideas inspire you with creativity. It'll make you redecorate your house. It'll give you an idea about your living room you never had before. It'll give you an idea about your wife you never had. Come on, baby, let's go over here. Where are we going? You say, come on. You've been taking her to the same since y'all was in high school. You sisters gonna pay me for this. I'm gonna help a sister out up in here. I'm gonna get you out of that kitchen at least one day a week. You're gonna see some daylight. This year you're going someplace other than Burger King. I'm gonna help you out. You will not spend your anniversary at Papados. You going to another. You've been to Papados so long, you don't even have to look at the menu. Give me a number 5 and an ice. Number 7. We're going to model creativity. Tell somebody, tell them I'm feeling creative. Our model says, number 7 is instinct versus intellect. What do you sense, or where do you sense destiny is pulling you toward? Is your destiny pulling you instinctively to a place for which you feel ill-prepared? When instinct and intellect ride together, give the wheel to instinct. Because instinct is given to guide you to what is meant for you. And intellect only validates the hunch you felt. So you don't want to be guided by the intelligence, because facts doesn't necessarily mean truth. Come on with me. Facts don't always mean truth. You can go to the doctor can give you facts, but you can get on your knees and get some truth that says, by his stripes I am healed. The fact is, anybody who's been through what you've been through should have had a nervous breakdown and lost their mind. The truth is, in spite of everything you've been through, you still are making it by the grace of God. So you don't want to be guided by the facts. You know how many murder cases are solved on a hunch? Do you know how many creative things are done by instinct? When I wrote my first book, no man had written a book to women about healing before. Nobody would even finance it. I had to finance my own